Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is enjoying their day. Please subscribe and like the video before continuing. The Young and the Restless spoilers. Is Phyllis being set up in Kane's hacking scandal? The Young and the Restless spoilers and updates tease that Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, might face arrest if Kane Ashby's, Billy Flynn, scheme backfires. Could Phyllis end up being the fall guy and find herself behind bars as a consequence? Get updates on the latest news about The Young and the Restless, straight to your inbox. We use your personal data for interest-based advertising, as outlined in our privacy notice. What is this? Phyllis has been desperate for a new path forward after all the captivity chaos. Phyllis has been yearning for a way forward, particularly after all the turmoil she faced during her time in captivity at the clinic. Martin Laurent, Christopher Cousins, subjected Phyllis to an overwhelming amount of trauma that she has yet to fully confront. Rather than dealing with her past, Phyllis is immersing herself in Kane's latest venture, putting herself at risk. In the Y&R episode airing on August 12, Daniel Romolotti Jr., Michael Graziadei, definitely raised the alarm about Kane's outrageous plan for domination in Genoa City. Daniel urged Phyllis to escape now before Kane ensnares her in a disaster that could make her a target. Phyllis is playing with fire, as far as her son is concerned, but she won't listen. In Daniel's view, Phyllis is flirting with danger and is bound to face consequences like never before. He might be onto something when he suggests that Phyllis should sever her ties with Kane and seek a different business opportunity. What is this? Yet, Phyllis is the type of person who stubbornly stands her ground and ignores sensible advice. This is precisely why she will charge ahead with her partnership with Kane, likely to infiltrate all the companies he has his sights set on. Kane is relying on Phyllis to utilize her skills effectively, but this could spell trouble if she engages in illegal activities for him and ends up in hot water. Phyllis could be arrested, a scapegoat for Kane, a tough call for Amanda Sinclair. One can easily picture Phyllis being arrested when everything inevitably unravels around her. Phyllis could find herself in serious trouble and possibly end up in jail, particularly if Kane attempts to pin the blame on her as part of his elaborate scheme. Kane may try to keep his own reputation intact, suggesting that Phyllis acted on her own to engage in underhanded tactics. Should Kane betray Phyllis in this manner, Amanda Sinclair, Miss Hale Morgan, will face a tough choice: stand by her boss or abandon him to assist Phyllis instead. What is this? In any case, Y&R spoilers indicate that Kane will be making adjustments to his plan as things unfold, so be sure to catch the upcoming shocking revelations and daring actions. Be sure to catch up on everything happening with Y&R right now. Come back here often for the Young and the Restless spoilers, news, and updates. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Phyllis Summers could be walking straight into a trap that threatens to destroy everything she's worked for, with Kane Ashby's hacking scandal at the center of the storm. Genoa City is no stranger to corporate sabotage, secret alliances, and explosive betrayals, but this time the game may be dirtier than ever. For months, Phyllis has been maneuvering herself into a position of power, using her sharp instincts and even sharper tongue to gain leverage in the cutthroat business landscape. However, whispers are spreading that someone is orchestrating a plan to make her the fall girl in a high-tech scheme that could put her at odds with both the law and some of the most influential players in town. Kane, who has already had his reputation dragged through the mud in the past, is now facing new accusations of hacking into confidential company files. The evidence is damning, too damning, and that's exactly what makes it suspicious. According to insiders, the trail of digital breadcrumbs seems almost too perfectly placed to point toward Kane. But there's a twist: some of those same breadcrumbs allegedly connect back to Phyllis's network. Could someone be planting false leads to make it appear that Phyllis was Kane's silent partner in crime? The tension between the two is palpable, and in true Genoa City fashion, their history is complicated. While Phyllis isn't exactly a stranger to playing in morally gray territory, she's also not someone who takes kindly to being framed. Her fierce independence and refusal to be outplayed mean that if she senses a setup, she will fight back with everything she has. What's even more intriguing is who could be behind the plan. Some speculate that Billy Abbott, still nursing grudges from past betrayals, might be pulling strings to knock both Kane and Phyllis down a peg. Others think Victor Newman could have a hand in it, using the scandal as a way to shift power dynamics within the business world to his own advantage. Then there's the possibility that a dark horse, someone underestimated, could be engineering the downfall of both players to make room for their own rise. Meanwhile, Kane is in damage control mode. He's desperately trying to prove his innocence, but with his checkered history, convincing anyone in Genoa City will be an uphill battle. If Phyllis is truly innocent, her biggest challenge will be proving that she isn't the mastermind behind the scenes. And if she's guilty? Well, then this could be her boldest, most dangerous move yet. The stakes couldn't be higher. Friendships will be tested, alliances will be shattered, and careers could implode. If the real hacker isn't exposed soon, both Phyllis and Kane could find themselves facing criminal charges, massive financial losses, and public humiliation. And for two people who pride themselves on always staying one step ahead, that would be the ultimate defeat. Yet in Genoa City, the truth has a way of coming out, but often at a devastating price. As the investigation deepens, expect late-night confrontations, secret meetings, and more than one shocking revelation that turns the case on its head. Whether Phyllis is an innocent pawn or a cunning player in Kane's hacking scandal, one thing is certain, she won't go down without a fight, and when she strikes back, the fallout will be unforgettable. This is the kind of storyline that changes everything, and the ripple effects could shake the young and the restless for months to come. The investigation into Kane's hacking scandal takes a darker turn as new details emerge, and Phyllis starts to realize the scope of the conspiracy she might be caught in. It begins with a mysterious email that lands in her inbox late at night, a supposed warning from an anonymous source claiming to have proof she's being framed. The email contains encrypted files and a cryptic message: "You're in deeper than you think. Trust no one." At first, Phyllis suspects it's a ploy to rattle her, but the more she digs, the more she sees the truth in those words. The files seem to connect her personal laptop to Kane's alleged cyber breach, but she knows she's never accessed those servers. This suggests one terrifying possibility: someone has hacked her system to make it look like she's complicit. Meanwhile, Kane is fighting battles on multiple fronts. Jill Abbott, furious at the potential fallout on Chancellor Winters, demands answers, while Lily tries to keep the board calm and the press at bay. Kane insists he's been set up, but with financial records and login traces pointing to his account, he's running out of plausible explanations. The pressure is intense, and the more frantic he becomes, the guiltier he looks. Adding to the chaos, Jack Abbott gets wind of the scandal and warns Phyllis that her enemies are circling. Jack knows from personal experience that once public opinion turns, the facts won't matter, people will believe what they want to believe. He urges her to come clean if she's involved, but Phyllis, insulted by the implication, vows she'll prove her innocence even if it means taking down half the town to do it. However, there are whispers in the corporate corridors that a shadowy figure might be orchestrating the whole mess. The name Tucker McCall surfaces more than once, and given his knack for high-stakes manipulation, it wouldn't be surprising if he was the puppet master pulling both Kane and Phyllis's strings. But Phyllis also can't shake the feeling that the real culprit might be closer to home, someone she's shared information with in confidence, someone who knows her moves and weaknesses. As the days pass, the media frenzy escalates, with headlines splashing Phyllis's name alongside Kane's. Social media speculation runs wild, and old enemies like Chelsea Lawson seize the opportunity to stoke the fire, throwing shade with carefully crafted posts that make Phyllis look guiltier by the hour. Desperate to get ahead of the story, Phyllis reaches out to a contact in the cybersecurity field, a former flame who owes her a favor. Together, they start tracing the digital fingerprints, looking for inconsistencies that might reveal the true hacker. What they find sends chills down Phyllis's spine. The attack pattern matches a signature she's seen before, one connected to a past Genoa City scandal that was never officially solved. This revelation changes everything, but it also means the person behind the setup is far more dangerous than she imagined. If she can't expose them before they make their final move, Phyllis could be destroyed, and Kane might be dragged down with her. The next steps will require cunning, secrecy, and the willingness to cross lines that even Phyllis once swore she wouldn't. But if survival means fighting dirty, she's ready to unleash every weapon in her arsenal. Because in Genoa City, the only thing more dangerous than being framed is letting your enemies believe they've won. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Phyllis Summers could be facing one of the most dangerous situations of her life as the fallout from Kane Ashby's hacking scandal intensifies. What began as whispers of corporate sabotage has spiraled into a full-blown legal crisis, and now there's a growing possibility that Phyllis will be arrested. To make matters worse, it's becoming increasingly clear that she may be nothing more than a convenient scapegoat, a pawn in a game designed to protect the real mastermind. Kane's history is no secret. He's been involved in questionable schemes before, and his track record makes him an easy target for suspicion. But this time, the evidence doesn't just point to him. A trail of digital activity and suspicious communications is linking Phyllis to the breach, painting her as an accomplice. From hacked emails to unauthorized access logs, the case against her is being built with precision, almost as if someone has been planning this for months. Enter Amanda Sinclair, Genoa City's sharp and relentless attorney, who finds herself caught between legal strategy and moral conviction. Amanda has represented Phyllis in the past and knows that her client can be impulsive and cunning, but she also knows when something smells off. This case reeks of manipulation, yet the legal risk is too great to ignore. If Phyllis is arrested, the optics alone could ruin her career, her reputation, and her future, regardless of the verdict. Amanda is torn. As a lawyer, her job is to protect her client within the confines of the law, but she's also a realist. She understands that in Genoa City's high-powered corporate world, innocence doesn't always matter. Public perception can destroy a person long before a jury hears the facts. That's why Amanda is walking a tightrope, weighing whether to advise Phyllis to make a preemptive deal or to fight tooth and nail to expose the true hacker. But that decision isn't easy, because every step forward comes with dangerous consequences. The deeper Amanda digs, the clearer it becomes that this case isn't just about Kane and Phyllis, it's about a much larger scheme involving multiple players with a lot to lose. Some evidence points toward Tucker McCall, whose history of ruthless power plays fits the profile of someone capable of setting up an elaborate trap. Other leads suggest Victor Newman might be using the chaos to manipulate the business landscape to his advantage. And then there's the unsettling possibility that someone much closer to Phyllis, an ally she's trusted, might be orchestrating her downfall for personal gain. For Amanda, the stakes are higher than just winning a case. If she chooses to defend Phyllis aggressively, she risks painting a target on her own back. The people behind this plot have shown they're willing to plant evidence, manipulate technology, and destroy reputations to get what they want. If she goes too far, Amanda could find herself the next victim of a smear campaign, or worse. Meanwhile, Phyllis is caught between panic and fury. The thought of being handcuffed and booked is almost unbearable, and the humiliation of seeing her name splashed across every media outlet as Kane Ashby's hacking accomplice would be a blow she may never recover from. But she's also not the type to play the victim. If she senses Amanda is hesitating, Phyllis may take matters into her own hands, launching a counterattack that could blow up in spectacular fashion. Kane, for his part, isn't exactly rushing to save her. With his own neck on the line, he's focused on clearing his name, even if that means letting Phyllis take the fall. This cold pragmatism could be the final nail in the coffin of any lingering trust between them. As the investigation barrels forward, Amanda must make her toughest call yet, cut a deal to protect Phyllis from prison but risk cementing her reputation as guilty in the court of public opinion, or gamble everything on uncovering the real hacker and hope she can do it before the arrest warrant becomes reality. In Genoa City, where truth and lies are often indistinguishable and loyalty shifts like the wind, either choice could have devastating consequences. And for Phyllis, the wrong move could mean trading her high-heeled power strut for an orange jumpsuit, unless Amanda Sinclair can pull off the impossible. The pressure mounts as Amanda Sinclair realizes the timeline to act is shrinking. Law enforcement sources have leaked that the district attorney's office is reviewing the case and could seek an arrest warrant for Phyllis within days. This bombshell pushes Amanda into overdrive. She knows once the DA makes a public move, it will be almost impossible to control the narrative, and Phyllis will be branded guilty before she even steps into a courtroom. Amanda starts working around the clock, reviewing every shred of digital evidence the authorities have collected. At first glance, the data seems airtight. Timestamps, IP addresses, and security logs all point directly to Phyllis's devices. But Amanda notices something that doesn't add up. The pattern of the alleged access is too clean, almost textbook, as if designed to mimic an obvious breach rather than the chaotic digital fingerprints a real hacker might leave. That precision convinces her this is a setup, but proving it will require digging into places that could get both of them in serious trouble. To buy more time, Amanda reaches out to Christine Blair, hoping to leverage their past mutual respect to slow the legal process. Christine listens but makes it clear that if the evidence keeps stacking up, she won't hesitate to push forward with charges. Amanda leaves the meeting knowing she has hours, not days, to shift the momentum. Meanwhile, Phyllis's paranoia is reaching dangerous levels. She's convinced that Tucker McCall is pulling the strings, but Amanda urges her not to jump to conclusions. Phyllis, being Phyllis, ignores that advice and starts running her own investigation behind Amanda's back, digging through company files, planting bait, and making bold moves that could either expose the real hacker or backfire spectacularly. Kane, who has been keeping a low profile, is cornered by Lily Winters, who demands to know if he's letting Phyllis take the fall to protect himself. Kane insists he's innocent, but his reluctance to work with Phyllis raises suspicions that he's more concerned with self-preservation than justice. In the shadows, someone is watching it all unfold, feeding information to the right people at the right time to keep the suspicion exactly where they want it. This puppet master knows that once Phyllis is arrested, the investigation will shift away from them entirely. As Amanda chases her leads, she stumbles onto a buried trail of older cyber attacks tied to a mysterious alias known only as the Architect. The style of those attacks matches the current breach almost perfectly. If Amanda can link this alias to a real person, she can clear Phyllis. But here's the catch: pursuing that lead will require crossing ethical lines, including hacking into private servers herself. If she's caught, she could lose her law license, and her career would be over. Phyllis begs her to take the risk, arguing that it's their only shot, but Amanda hesitates. This is the toughest decision of her career, and every second she waits brings them closer to the moment Phyllis is led away in handcuffs. The next move will determine everything, whether Phyllis walks free or becomes another cautionary tale of ambition, betrayal, and the ruthless games played in Genoa City's power circles. And if Amanda chooses wrong, both women could go down together, leaving the real hacker free to strike again. Phyllis Summers has been through her fair share of drama on The Young and the Restless, but the captivity chaos she endured has left her shaken in ways even she didn't expect. The fiery redhead, known for her resilience and quick thinking, found herself in a nightmare that tested every ounce of her strength. Now, with her freedom restored, Phyllis is at a crossroads, desperate for a new path forward that doesn't involve looking over her shoulder or fighting for her life. The aftermath of her captivity isn't something she can just brush off, and those close to her are starting to realize that this chapter may have changed Phyllis forever. For weeks, Genoa City has watched Phyllis try to put the pieces of her life back together. But the truth is, she's been struggling in private. Every conversation seems to lead back to what happened, and every decision feels weighted with the pressure of her past mistakes. It's not just the trauma of being held captive, it's the way she got there, the enemies she made, and the bridges she burned. Phyllis is no stranger to walking a fine line between right and wrong, but this time the stakes feel higher. She's realizing that if she doesn't make some major changes, she could end up in another dangerous spiral, one she might not escape from next time. Her children, Summer and Daniel, have been rallying around her, but even they are starting to sense that their mother's trademark confidence has been shaken. Summer in particular is pushing for Phyllis to slow down and really think about what she wants her future to look like. But Phyllis has never been one to sit still, and the idea of reinventing herself without a plan feels impossible. That's where a new opportunity may come into play. Rumor has it Phyllis has been approached with a business proposal that could take her life in a completely different direction. It's bold, it's risky, and it's exactly the kind of thing that could either rebuild her reputation or destroy it for good. The catch? She'd have to partner with someone she doesn't trust, a familiar face from her past who once betrayed her. As if that weren't complicated enough, Phyllis's enemies aren't done with her yet. There's still unfinished business from the captivity ordeal, and whispers in Genoa City suggest that someone is quietly plotting to drag her name back through the mud. Whether it's revenge, blackmail, or simply old grudges resurfacing, Phyllis knows she'll have to keep her guard up. At the same time, she's determined to prove she's not defined by her past mistakes. This inner conflict is driving her every move, as she tries to balance self-preservation with her desire to finally move on. The road ahead won't be easy. If Phyllis chooses to dive into this new business venture, she risks stirring up old rivalries and reigniting dangerous tensions. But if she plays it safe, she could be left with nothing but regret, watching others take chances she was too afraid to seize. It's a classic Phyllis dilemma: go big or go home, and the entire town will be watching to see what she decides. Friends like Nick Newman are keeping a cautious eye on her, ready to step in if things get out of hand. Enemies like Diane Jenkins, on the other hand, may see this as their chance to finally push Phyllis out of the picture for good. One thing is certain: whatever path Phyllis chooses, it's going to be filled with twists, tension, and plenty of drama. And knowing her, she won't just survive it, she'll make sure she comes out on top, no matter what it takes. But the real question is whether this time, Phyllis can carve out a future that's not built on revenge or reckless schemes, but on something more lasting, something that might finally give her the peace she's been chasing for years. The next few weeks in Genoa City could determine not just Phyllis's next chapter, but her legacy. Will she rise above the chaos and reinvent herself, or will her old habits pull her back into the kind of trouble she swore she'd leave behind? With the stakes higher than ever, Phyllis is about to make a choice that could change everything.